Wow, how packed can it get? Thank you so much for filling up those seats. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at our final session, and we feature a celebrated Hindi cinema star as guest speaker. So what else can we do but try and break the rules? Ladies and gentlemen, we have Bhumi Pednekar in the house. Let's have a loud cheer for her.
So you can't do that.
Before she comes on, Bhumi seamlessly blends her passion for cinema with her dedication to climate activism. With a political lineage, her father was Maharashtra's former Home and Labour Minister. Bhumi channels her upbringing into meaningful advocacy. As a founder of Climate Warrior, she actively promotes sustainable living, waste segregation, and recycling. Recognized as the first national advocate for the UN's Sustainable Development Goals in India, Bhumi amplifies awareness about climate action through her vast social media influence. She also serves as the Goodwill Ambassador for Healing Himalayas, participating in initiatives to preserve the mountain ecosystems. And talking to her is our homegrown champion of inclusion and diversity, corporate diva, activist, dancer, theatre person, and poetry practitioner, model, blogger, the list goes on, sustainability evangelist, earth warrior, event anchor and trainer, and the managing director of anitaB.org and co-host of the Grace Hopper celebrations. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Shreya Krishnan in conversation with Bhumi Pednekar.
I can't wipe this smirk off my face. And it's because, as I just told you backstage, you embody so much of that spirit that resonates in this room. So thank you for joining us here, Bhumi.
Thank you so much, Shreya. And I want to start by hello, everyone. How are we? I have to tell all of you, as I was backstage, I told Shreya, I am so overwhelmed seeing all of you in this crowd working and doing all the amazing work that you are doing. This is so inspiring to me. And I'm just very, very, very fortunate that I am a part of this event today.
Thank
and Shreya,
you.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations to all of you because you all are already achievers.
You know, Bhumi just said to me that not just today, but anything you want to do in the future, just let us know, and I'm on board.
Ever. Ever.
Thank you. Thank you, Bhumi. So now I'm going to walk a little through your journey. So, your journey to becoming an actress, right? And it was an interesting journey. For all those of you who followed her filmography, you will know that Bhumi has had a very interesting mix, to her credit. What were the challenges that you had early days? What was it breaking into the industry? What was that like?
Um, so to begin with, I honestly didn't know what is going to be my first step. I was, I had to break it to my family first. I told my mother when I was very young that I want to be an actor. Then I had to break it to my father, who didn't really take it well because he's like, how can I let my daughter go into the big bad world of cinema? Because, they've been conditioned to believe that the world outside is bad and they have to protect us, etc., etc. But then, me being the feisty person that I fought at home. I was like, this is all that I'm going to do. And I was fortunate enough to attend film school. And my father was completely against it. I said, that's fine. You don't want to support me? That's okay. And I was all of I think 16. Then I went ahead and I took an education loan and I went to film school. I was like, because I was very clear about what my purpose is, what my path is. I had no idea how am I going to achieve it. But I was like, I'm not going to let anybody stop me. Film school happened. After that, I was thrown out of film school, by the way, even though I fought my way in and I was like, I am going to attend film school. Stop me if you can. But I think I was very young. It is a professional course. And in my experience, you should do it when you have a little more maturity, which I lacked. I treated it like high school. Anyway, whatever happens, happens for the best.
Yeah.
After that, I went door to door. I was like, okay, this is a very big blunder. What do I do next? Because now my parents will be like, we gave you an opportunity and you completely ruined it. I went door to door giving my resume that please take me in as an assistant, please take me in as an assistant, because I had no way in. And then one random day I get a call from a friend of mine and he's like, you know, Yashraj Films? I said, of course I know Yashraj Films. They are looking for an assistant casting director. I was like, what is that? He's like, you basically have to cast people. I was like, but I want somebody to cast me. He's like, that doesn't matter at this moment. Are you interested in the job? I'm like, okay, I'll take it up. I went for the interview. I got rejected. They told me, no, you are not good enough. You have they had somebody better. I was completely heartbroken. But a week later, I got a call from my then boss, Mr. Abhimanyu Ray, who said, listen, the girl that we'd hired, she has decided not to take on the job. So are you available? And I need somebody today. I said, yes, I am. And that's it. The rest is history. I worked so hard that I was like, I'm going to be so good at what I do that they'll never be able to replace me. And I didn't tell anybody that I want to be an actor then because I was so confused. I was like, if I tell them I want to act, but my job is to cast other actors, will they take me seriously? And around that time, my father fell sick and we lost him then. And then our world came crashing down, and now I had this big financial responsibility on me as well. So for me, at that point, that job changed everything. I was 18 when I started working, and thank you. I was 18 when I started working, and I joined YRF, Yashraj Films, my job then, as this teenager who was exploring life. But then that opportunity became everything from me. My financial crutch, my only way to deal with losing my father. Um, it just opened, it made me meet such wonderful makers, um, people from different walks of life. I read so many scripts. So those years that I was behind the camera was actually film school for me. And I still didn't tell anybody I wanted to act because I was so confused. I was like, okay, I don't look like any of these women. But I was like, how am I going to crack it? You know, because I was there every day reading a script, and if the what was required of a female lead was nowhere close to who I was. But then destiny happened. And I think the rest everybody
The
knows.
rest, as they say, is history. So thank you, Bhumi, for sharing that because that makes you real, right? That's what we were talking about. We've been sharing real stories of, it's GHCI. So we call it grit, heart, courage, intent. So with GHC, which is in the US, is Grit, Heart, Courage, and we are Grit, Heart, Courage, Intent. And that little story that you shared had all of the snippets of all of those words. Would you say that these challenges that you've had are more specific to women? And if so, how did you overcome them? And what was that like? Was there ever a gendered lens?
Um, I didn't feel it as much when I was growing up. I didn't feel it at home at all. And thank God I was born into a family that empowered me every day. I was in school. I remember as a teenager, I was picked on. Kids can get mean. I'm sure I was mean to somebody as well. And I would just come home completely heartbroken. And my parents, they made us overconfident. I think even that's a bit of a problem. They were like, you're the most beautiful girl ever. You're the most talented person ever. It's okay if you failed math. It's fine. But look at you. You're so good in biology. I was like, okay. But I feel like that empowerment that I felt growing up helped me deal with the casual sexism that I dealt with once I got into the real world. And I have to say this, that people feel that the fraternity that I'm a part of, the films, um, it's actually a beautiful place. If you are on a film set, you will see the ratio of men is to women is very, very close. Um, yes, there are some deep rooted problems, that we as a gender are trying to battle on various levels, and that definitely exists in my fraternity as well, starting with the pay gap, which definitely pinches a lot and feels very, very unfair. But having said that, I think like the generation before mine, they tried their best and they created this space where a person like me can thrive. And I'm trying to do the same for the next generation. And thank you. But, you know, small things. And I just feel like we are so conditioned to casual sexism that many a times we don't even realize that it's happening to us. So for me, I had to start picking on cues and had to be like, that is not right. And I realized that the biggest power that I have is to say no. I will not do it. At the start of my career, I was offered film where my co-actor, whose achievements were very close to mine, got 5x the amount that I was paid. I did it because I didn't know better, and I did it because I didn't have a choice. I wanted to make it, but I was clear. I was like, the day I make it, I'm going to make sure my ecosystem has equality in it. And today I'm in a position where I'm like, no, if you don't value what I give you, if you don't value what I bring to your project, I'd rather not be a part of it, because I'm worthy of what I deserve. And I keep telling myself this, and it's tough. It's so tough because at times you're tempted. You're like, okay, should I just go ahead and do it? I know this film is gonna like be one massive big commercial success. But I'm like, no, it's okay. It's fine. You're creating your own legacy.
But that's so great to hear, because I think especially us and minority genders have a problem saying a resounding no, and it's a lifetime spent taught to teaching ourselves how to say no. And that connects me to your paid forward thing that you spoke about. And a lot of your recent roles have tackled some of these social issues that keep cropping up. Do you consciously select such roles? Do you feel like a sense of responsibility to choose them? And what drives you to that?
I think I think my journey started with my first film with Dam Laga Ke Aisha. I'll complete a decade next year. And I think over my past, I've been a part of 25 projects so far. And I've realized that I'm just that kind of a person. I have, as I mentioned earlier, I'm born into a family that's where we were never told that you're going to grow up and get married, or this is not your house and you belong to some other family. That was never the conversation. The conversation was always like, okay, what are you going to do? What are your career goals? What are your plans? So I just feel like I've seen my mother work her entire life. I have seen switch gender roles. And this is a story that I always share at whatever platform I get because it's so dear to me. It's my first period story. When I got my first period, it was my father that helped me with the entire process. He was the one that told me, okay, this is what you do. This is what, even though we were taught in school, but it's a very, you're very overwhelmed. And I was like an emotional wreck, and my mom wasn't home, and it was this whole saga. But I'm so proud of what he did because gender roles were so neutral at home. And that's the world that I have grown up in. I remember my father had actually thrown a little party. McDonald's had just gotten into India then,
Yeah.
and they had like this happy room area. I don't know if it still exists, but there was like a small little get together that my father had done for all my friends, and it was a celebration. I still remember as a teenager, I remember him preparing the hot water bottle for me because my mom was busy, and that's okay. And I feel like because I've seen that representation at home, I'm constantly chasing the same representation in my films.
Yeah.
And art is very powerful.
Yeah.
We have the power to reach out to such a large number of people. And I just feel like I have to use it in the best possible way.
Yeah.
So, and my first film made me realize that. And I've just been fortunate to have had collaborations with filmmakers that think like me, that want to create impact like me. And these scripts come to me, and I'm just so, so, so grateful because if my art didn't have purpose,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have survived.
No, I love that about art with purpose because we speak so much about purpose and business. And we have been speaking about STEAM, which is the intersection of science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And thank you for bringing that into the conversation because when you actually look at storytelling in Bollywood, it's evolved and it's evolving over the recent years. How do you feel about this shift that's happening? And is there any particular change that you'd like to see and you envision for the future?
Well, the change is necessary. It's very welcome. I can proudly say that I am an active part of it, along with all the brilliant filmmakers um, that are a part of this movement. That's what I call it. I think something that I would really, really hope in the future is just to see an environment that is so safe. And it's just not like within the films. I just feel like generally, when you see gender based violence and just how far it has gone today, it really breaks my heart that violence on our gender has become everyday front page news.
Yes.
And I don't know how do we change that. And I just feel like I'm sure every woman and everybody in this room, actually, this is not an our
Yeah,
problem.
yeah. It's everybody's
This is we together make our society, and there's something deeply wrong with where we are headed. And I just feel like only large amounts of conversation and intent can bring about that change. And again, I really hope that through my work I can change that within the system.
Yeah, and the theme of this conference is me plus we, the idea we exist as individuals, but collectively we are a lot more powerful. If there's a me plus we problem, the solution is also me plus we. And creating safe, non judgmental spaces is all of our prerogative. So, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for bringing it out through your filmography and the roles that you choose. It means so much. Representation matters. Thank you. You, yeah. Yeah, that deserves a round of applause. You inspire many, many young people, especially women. Has it impacted your approach to public engagement, especially social media? And how do you look at that? What's your lens?
Um, I think when my journey with social media started, I was a little irresponsible then because I just didn't know how powerful it was. It for me, my films were everything, and also the way the communication was very different. For me, my social media was very personal, but I realized that it's such a disservice to the power that I hold. When as a person in the public eye, you have a large platform. And again, if you don't use that platform for positive impact, it's rather sad. And that's when I realized, and I have to tell you, the internet teaches me a lot because everything that's on the internet stays on the internet. It never goes off. So there are many a times that older interviews of mine pop out, and I'm like, okay, I have definitely evolved as a person, right? It's all about growth. I have even though my intent was always about empowering our gender, actually any marginalized community for that matter, but it's a learning journey, it's a curve. And many a times I go through my previous interviews and I'm like, okay, I've come a long way. And thank God for that. The internet truly teaches me a lot, and it comes with a responsibility. It comes with a lot of responsibility because my audience is made up of young teenage girls that have only just gotten access to various apps. So I want to make sure that they see a role model in me in many ways, like the ones that I had while growing up, because I think it's so important to have great examples around you. And I'm trying to be one for them.
Be the change you want to see. And we see that. So thank you for that. Are there any projects outside of the film industry that you're passionate about, apart from the causes that you stand for? Is there anything you'd like to share with the audience?
Um, so apart from me being an actor, um, I'm also a very passionate climate activist. I work a lot in the space of environment conservation, animal rights. Honestly, I just think I'm an empathetic person. So wherever I can lend my voice and my platform, whatever way I can leverage my audience, again, as I said, to bring about any kind of positive change. I run a platform called Climate Warrior, through which it's an advocacy platform through which our main agenda is to create enough awareness around what's happening in the world right now. I think what we forget is that climate change is the largest looming threat that humanity is facing. I feel we often forget, we think that this is a class problem,
Yeah.
but this isn't. So for all of us that feel privileged and think that
Yeah.
technology, money, something is going to come save you,
Yeah.
no. We all are dealing with it. I mean, if you open our newspapers, like in our capital, schools are shut down.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
taking away basic rights from little children.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm very passionate about it, but maybe that would need another session.
Absolutely, but I resonate with it because Delhi children as old as 13 years old have enough tar in their lungs as much as a smoker of 20 years. And this is a climate crisis we're in. And if you're not choosing consciously, especially rooms of privilege have the choice to choose. A lot of people don't. So thank you for your work. And my next question is connected to your work and the voice that you have in fighting climate change. What inspired you to take this step? What goals do you have to share with this audience? And what can they do? What can each one of us do?
Honestly, I think my journey started when I was very young. Obviously, we all have learned about it in school, but when I was growing up, it was just 4 lines in our geography textbook. Nobody really spoke about it, but it kind of stayed back with me. And then I met like-minded people, and that's how my journey started. But it honestly came from a place of fear.
Yeah.
Because all of us, every individual in this room, the one thing that I can with guarantee say is the one thing we all have in common, that we want to protect the people we love. We want to protect our loved ones. That's where it came from. I was like, if I truly want to protect my family, am I really working towards doing that? I wasn't.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it just amazes me how ignorant humans can get. I mean, it's also easier, right? It's just a life of convenience. Oh no, everything is okay. Somebody is going to come save us. But I feel like, as you said, right, the change we want to see needs to start with us. And I had climate anxiety growing up.
Yeah.
I didn't know I had it because mental health was never really spoken of. And imagine a kid that's anxious about the world coming to an end, right? So nobody really took me seriously. I didn't take myself seriously either. But that experience culminated into me being this person, and it's just a very big part of my purpose.
I love that because there's a beautiful Ban Ki moon quote which says, if the fight for climate, equity, equality, all of it are connected and they're all the collective problem, there is a collective solution as well. Because the fight is the same fight. It's for us to have that safe, equitable world. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, and before I go into a quick round of rapid fire type questions, no Karan Johar hampered at the end of this.
I suddenly got very nervous.
And these are very simple. It's a fun word association game. But before that, still on the environment issue, which one do you think is the most important and most relevant right now that we need to fight? And what do we all need to do? And to tell you, there are a lot of people here who have spoken at the Tech for Social Good, and there's so many people investing in AI, ML, and
Right.
tech for climate change, for
Right.
sustainability. Just to see the sheer number of conversations that have happened over the last 3 days, and youngsters investing in it has been amazing. So I just thought I should ask you, what do you think we need to know that we need to work on
I think
immediately?
something I feel that, in my view, is really lacking within our systems is waste management. It is, I mean, I know there are a lot of people working towards solutions, but again, it can't be a macro solution because the problem starts from within our homes.
Yeah.
Even if we inculcate basic practices of segregation, that's the only way we can aid the government and different agencies that are working towards the problem into finding a solution.
Yeah.
You know, if you actually go and read up that the average lifespan of people working in the landfills is 35 years of age.
Yeah.
They are constantly um, around toxic waste, toxic gases, because what we do, and you know, this might sound as something very simple, but none of us honestly inculcate it at home. So that's something that I feel very passionately about, and I want to be working for the next couple of years because I mean, you have mountains
Yeah.
as tall as like any high-rise building in the city that I live in, which is Mumbai, full of kachra, garbage.
Yeah.
And the only solution is to burn it.
Yeah.
Because what do you do? So if you start segregating your waste at source, there will be a solution right there.
Do you compost? I'm
I
a
do.
champion of
I
composting,
do.
so.
I actually do compost, but in Bombay we live in like flats. We don't really have like bungalows, but we do compost. All of our wet waste goes into a compost bin. It's this large circular thing that doesn't necessarily smell the nicest, but we manage, and all of it goes as manure into our plants. I mean, I have a lot of greenery at home.
I would
That's
imagine. I would imagine. Okay, the last one before we open for questions, I'm going to say a word, and you should tell me the first word that comes into
all
your
right.
head. So that's the rapid
This
fire.
gets me nervous. Okay.
Bollywood,
Um, Dream. It's my dream.
climate,
Um, Action.
safety,
Most important.
environment,
Mother.
nature,
Ah, okay. Nature. Soul.
grit,
Resilience.
heart,
My mother.
courage,
My mother.
intent.
Intent. Oh, I don't have that down.
Set an intention.
Intent. Intent to change the world.
On that note, I'm going to open to the audience for questions. We can probably do about 3. So if you can just raise your hand, there's a mic that'll come to you. Can we get handhelds very quickly? And if you can just come to front of stage if you have a question. Just the first 3 that make it here. I'm sorry, we're running short of time. So, yes. We have 1 and 2 and 1 more. Okay. So 3 questions to the 3 of you. Can we get a mic over, please? You can take mine, actually.
Hey Bhumi, hi.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining here. We are so glad to have you here. So my question is, who are your biggest inspirations? First in film industry, and second in your extra things like this climate thing you mentioned, right?
Um, so thank you so much for your question. Could you also tell me your name?
My name is Aarti Mittal. I work at
Arti.
American Express.
Okay, hi Aarti, nice to meet you. I think my biggest inspiration in films, um, I'm on, I really admire Priyanka Chopra, you know, because she is just brilliant. Yeah, she is. She is brilliant, and I've always said it. I keep telling her this as well. I think she's really opened such paths and doors for us globally. And and I've loved her since I was very young. I remember my first annual day. No, sorry, not my first annual day, but her brother and I went to school together. And she'd already become like a successful actor. And she had attended one of my annual days as a chief guest. And I was dancing, and you're obviously supposed to look at the audience, but I only looked at her and I danced. And she remembered it. I met her 10 years later, and she remembered it because she's just brilliant. I completely adore her.
I hope you remember me.
Oh, I will.
Thank you.
Good evening, Bhumi.
Hello.
I'm Niharika. I'm a student from Geetam, Hyderabad.
Hi, Niharika.
So you've been quite an inspiration for me from
Thank you.
Dham Laga Ke Haisha, especially seeing someone who looks like me, who feels the same way that I do on screen. It was such a huge
Thank
thing.
you. Thank you.
It was actually my mother. She's present here. She was the one who was like, "Watch this movie. It'll make you feel. It'll make you feel present in this society." So my question was, what is your motivation to do such versatile films with such like deep characters, with like the whole personalities, and every character that you do is so vastly different from each other, especially from Dam Laga Ke Haisha to Badai Do. It's such a vast difference. So how do you prepare for that? Like, what's your motivation?
You know, Niharika, when I was growing up, I didn't I didn't see myself represented on screen. And that's what, and I was very clear when I became an actor. And because I also got lucky that my first film was Dam Laga Ke Haisha. But after that, I was like, I'm only going to play characters that have agency. I'm only going to play parts that empower us. Because we didn't have many of those examples. And also, actors in generations before me didn't have those opportunities, but I have those opportunities and I'm not going to stop. Can I give you a hug? You're so sweet.
Moments like these.
Okay, I cry.
Thank you. May there be many more of us, and may there be many more Bhumis to inspire each one of us.
Hi, Bhumi. My name is Sonali. I'm doing a PhD in artificial intelligence. And it is so amazing to have you here with me because I'm not lying, but you are truly my favorite actress. I'm not lying at all. And I believe that you are such an inspiration to everyone in this room because your movies truly bring out the very essence of this conference, which is that embrace who you truly are. From Bala to Dam Laga Ke Haisha, you truly bring out the very essence of this conference, which is, just accept yourself and not only accept yourself, just embrace yourself. So I'm really, really, really so happy and so inspired and so delighted that you are here with us and I could just see you in person. So my question, so my question to you is that out of all the inspiring movies and all the impact you've had on society, which is your favorite movie and which one you feel has been the most impactful?
First, thank you so much.
You're
Thank you. This is the love that, this is the reason I keep going. This is what keeps me motivated. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Um, that's a very tough question. It's like asking me what body part of mine do I love the most. But Haito is a very special film to me. Um, I think it's a story that was made a little too late. You
right.
know, it's very personal to me because I have grown up with some of my closest friends, family members that belong to the LGBTQIA plus community. And I have been a part of their coming out story. It's tough. It is lonely. And everybody doesn't have an ecosystem that lets them be their most authentic, real self. And that's why for me, doing Badhai though was that opportunity to create a safe space, to try and normalize it, and to just let people know that love is love. And Badhai though is very dear to me.
Thank you so much, Bhumi. And for the record, that's my favorite movie as well.
Love is love.
Yeah, thank
Yes.
you.
And the last two questions.
Hi, Bhumi.
Hello.
I'm Inu here. My name is a little different, So people call me Eno fruit salt or Eno an acidity god, but do remember me as Eno. Um, the movie Dham Laga Ke Harsha is very special for me because I see myself in you. I lost 15 kgs over a period of time and I have dealt with body shaming all the time. So when I saw that movie, I thought, yes, you had the courage, you had the grit to do that movie. So my question to you is, how did you get that grit and courage to do such a movie in the Bollywood, which is a city of dreams?
Courage question.
Uh, I'm going to give you my most honest answer. Thank you so much. Thank you for the love. You know, I was casting for Dam Laga Ke Haisha. I'd read the film because I was the assistant casting director on the film. I was auditioning other girls to play that part. When I read it, I was like, this role is a role of a lifetime. I think I just manifested it then, or maybe the universe had planned it in such a way. And this film came to me and I just jumped on it. You know, and also, your first film, you often don't have a choice if you don't come from privilege. And I didn't come from privilege. But I was lucky that my first film was Dam Laga Ke Haisha. So I truly believe in the power of the universe, of some power that's working towards protecting you. And I feel like that power did that. Because I'm this person, and my first film was a film like Dam Laga Ke Haisha, where I could be my most real, authentic self. And yeah, so
You know, I have heard तू भी ऐसी थी जैसी वो दिखती है मूवी में.
I mean, thank you. Congrats. Yes, of course. Congratulations on your journey. Congratulations.
Hi, Bhumi. Thank you so much for your time today, first of all. And I want to give you a shout out for doing a picture where every normal looking Indian girl could picturize themselves in you. So, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for doing something like that. So my question is particularly out of curiosity. I mean, I've never seen someone from Bollywood so close to myself. So I just want to know, like, if technology is actually playing a role on day to day on the sets. Like, do you experience something out of AI, ML, or just simply technology, which is
Absolutely.
yeah,
And it blows my mind every day. Trust me. It also scares me. I'm a little intimidated as well,
yeah.
right? Because there's been enough conversation around the topic. But for example, and this is something very new for us, recently I shot for a commercial ad. And they just told me that, okay, we are going to, I mean, I don't know your jargon. I'm really sorry. I'm still very new within the whole AI world, but
Yeah.
it really fascinates me. But they just basically told me that, okay, we are going to shoot you for 2 more hours. And they got me to say like gibberish. I was literally talking gibberish, looking into camera for 2 hours, and they're like, we will produce assets
Mhm.
from that. And I was like, okay. And they did that.
Wow.
And I was like, this is incredible because it saved my time, it
Yeah.
saved my energy, it saved their costs, but it also scares me. Right? But I just feel like if we have strong laws and we are protected, then it's all good. I would love to embrace technology in every way possible in my day to day life.
Absolutely. It's a boon and a bane.
Thank you.
Can I have a
Thank
picture
you.
with you?
We will do pictures 1 second.
I have to
I have
stop.
to stop. I have to stop at this moment, but you can get a hug. Yes. So that was the 4 questions. Thank you. Bhumi, thank you. Thank you for your humility. Thank you for the inspiration that you are. Thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for the voice, advocacy, agency, and platform that you represent. I have one request. There are a few people here who have traveled all the way from the US, which is our cabinet, a part of our cabinet that's traveled to be here, and they're all of the women are in saris. I'm going to invite them one by one. You heard Brenda Darden Wilkerson just before, so that's our president and CEO. Brenda, if we can have you join us. Next to her is Pamela Lee, our chief administrative officer. Next to her is Nicole Guzman, who's our chief revenue, head of revenue. Deandra Coleman, our Global Head of Marketing, Bo Young Lee. Yeah, Bo gets a woo. Bo, your rage thing really excited everybody. Gloria Bell, our head of community, Quinton Sproul, our deputy chief of staff, and Sebastian, who's part of our IT team, Jerome, who's our chief technology officer, Carmen Edwards, who's our head of HR, and Lucia, who's our COO. All of them send love. They couldn't be here in person. As this team comes on stage, there's another very important team I have to call on. Can I have India leadership? Priya Chawla, head of growth strategy and revenue. Karen DeMello, head of community. Pranalika Mahanta, head of marketing. I hope these folks are in the room. Arushi Nair, who's part of the team. Amit, who's head of admin and procurement. Richa Bhandari, who's part of the marketing team. Where is everybody? Where is Team Anita B? Walking. Faster. Working. Okay, yeah. Shivani Mehta, who's part of project management. Where is everybody else? There. Arpita Sharma, Monisha, Carol Rego, Nikita Nair. Where is Abhijit? Amit, Abhijit. I announced Amit and Abhijit. Okay, the two gentlemen on the team are currently missing on stage, but this team together is responsible for what you saw over the last 2 days. Thank you, Bhumi, for staying on with us to get this picture. And thank you for your words. But this is a team that put this together, so thank you. If we can get a picture quickly, I will get Bhumi off stage and we'll do a team photo.
The most important person being Shreya.
Oh, no,
So
no,
give it up for her, ladies and gentlemen.
About to break that chain of thought that all
That's
say
our
you can't
anthem.
do that. Tied us down, now we combat. New gen in your face, we about that. Me plus we see the future, gonna get that. Get that. 10 toes in, can you feel that?
Okay.
Feel that? Feel that?
Arrange yourselves for a photo. I'm going to ship Bhumi safely away.
Come on. We got the high-end product, the conduct. Business, professional. Body, phenomenal. Built in a way unstoppable. Our MO, incomparable. The style, the skill, impeccable. You know, that's what we do. We about to turn it up a notch. Better not be confused.